This episode of Playing on a Budget is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the #1 source of games and gaming accessories, and by GatheringMagic.com, the #1 source of Magic the Gathering news and articles. Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with episode number 2 of Playing on a Budget. For this week I've decided to choose a very popular archetype in aggro, in red aggro. This is very similar to one of the tier 1 decks that is going around like crazy right now, especially on MTG, that is kind of the RG aggro with the Stomping Grounds and Rootbound Crags to help splash over into green. But since this is a budget deck, I decided to stick with kind of the mono-colored theme as until those Gatecrash lands do come down in price. They are still quite very expensive, and so to make a deck under $100 is very tough just from the lands alone. So I'm going to try to stick kind of this mono colored theme for a while now until those lands do become more affordable. So this one is a mono red. I think this is probably the most competitive of a deck that you can build in under $100 because it has actually put up the numbers. This was a very popular deck in the past before Gatecrash came out, and is still a very popular deck now that Gatecrash has kind of solidified itself in the meta. So let's just go over the list here. Look these cards up on CoolStuffInc.com for the prices. Go check them out. Great website. They help sponsor GatheringMagic.com and this video series. So please, please, please go support us by checking out Cool Stuff Inc. and buying your cards from them. Anyway, let's look down the list here. I love Zealous Conscript is kind of our poor man's Thundermaw Hellkite. Actually does kind of the same thing because you want just one or two cards that just completely go over the top of the other person's deck. The great thing about Zealous Conscript is it kind of nullifies the Thragtusk. They play the Thragtusk the same turn you play Zealous Conscript, so they play Thragtusk, gain 5 life, but you're able to kind of nullify that 5 life by taking their Thragtusk, making so it can't block anything with the Zealous Conscript, and swinging in for lethal that turn. And there's so many games I've done that. Also, Zealous Conscript's really cool. I've been able to take a Liliana at 6 counters and then ult it on my opponent. I've been able to take a Tameo. I've been able to take just a lot of cool permanents. Sometimes just even some things you wouldn't expect, like a Curse of Death's Hold or something, you can actually take with your Zealous Conscripts, which is because it's any permanent. And just a very, very versatile card, and it gives that permanent haste. Then these guys run about, I believe, $2 a piece, so very, very big bang for your buck. They are so cheap because they do come in a intro deck, and so you do have that option to pick them up in the intro deck. Then we have Hellrider. The reason why I'm able to build this deck finally is Hellrider has gone down in price, which is awesome because this card at one point was a $20 card, and it was almost impossible to find. It was very, very hard to trade for and very, very hard to find vendors that were selling this for any reasonable price. But recently, the dual deck Sorin versus T-Balt came out, and this deck includes a Hellrider. If you're a new player to Magic, I highly, 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 highly recommend going out and buying that dual deck. Has a lot of fun cards in it, like Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. He's an amazingly fun card for new players especially. Planeswalkers are always really cool, but it comes with 2 decks that are already pre-made that you and your buddy can practice with. You have the T-Balt deck, which is a black-red aggressive deck, and the Sorin deck, which is a black-white token deck, and it helps you. Both of those are usually very popular archetypes in most standards. I mean, even last standard we had a black-white tokens and a red deck wins, and even the one before that we had similar decks as well. So these type of archetypes stick around for a long time, and the Sorin deck is very, very fun to play. So is the T-Balt deck. Has some great legacy and modern cards in it. It's a great deal right now. Cool Stuff Inc. is selling those for $30 a piece, which is a bargain because those suckers will sell out and hold their value over the long period of time, because it does have some amazing cards like Spectral Procession and, like I said, Hellrider and Sorin, and a lot of cards with alternate artwork, which is just, you get a foil Sorin, a foil alternate art Sorin, and a foil alternate art T-Balt, which is really, really cool. So go check that deck out if you're a new player. Highly, highly recommend buying it. It's very, very fun. It will teach you the game, and you'll have a lot of cards you can use in standard right now, which is key to getting into it. Anyway, so let's go back. These guys are sitting at $10 right now if you do decide to buy them. Instead of, if you you'll pick up one in your Sorin versus T-Balt deck if you buy that, and then you can pick the other ones up at $10 a piece. And they're your basically, this is the best card. I would say it's tied for your best card in your deck. The other best card in your deck is Burning-Tree Emissary, because this card is just a cheater. You can get some stupidly sick draws. When I play testing this deck, I had a turn 2 Burning-Tree Emissary into Burning-Tree Emissary into Burning-Tree Emissary into Lightning Mauler. It was just stupid. It had 8 power on board on turn 2 and could actually swing in for 4 power on turn 2. So yeah, that's very, very unfair card. But other than that, Hellrider also, you fill the board up with a lot of these weenies, and then on turn 4 you can swing for lethal quite consistently if you have a Hellrider and 4 lands in your hand and enough weenies on board. So yeah, $10, this card is a bargain. The only reason it is so cheap, it is sold in that dual deck that's just packed full of amazing cards. Now onto the 3 drops. What I'm including is a 1 of Brimstone Volley. I like just to have a 1 of in here as an alternate kind of win condition, because a lot of times they will be at 5 damage, and you do need that 5/3, and that's a big deal. It's like a shock and a lightning bolt in one card. 5 to the face is yeah, something that will make your opponent cringe. The Pyreheart Wolf is great against decks like Rakdos decks or Centaur Healer decks, where they are only relying on like 1 or 2 roadblocks to come into play. So you fill the board up with these weenies, you slap Pyreheart Wolf down, especially if you like turn 2 Lightning Mauler and pair it with the Pyreheart Wolf. A lot of times if they have like a Centaur Healer out and that's it, they can't block any of your dudes. So your Noble will get in, and your Lightning Mauler will get in, and your Pyreheart will get in. This will get ticked up. You end up doing, probably 2 here, 2 here, 1 here, so 5 damage, kind of negating that +3 life gain and no roadblock with that Centaur Healer. And you don't have to like waste a Searing Spear on it, and just a very good card. It's kind of the same reason I'm including Madcap Skills in here, is a lot of these Bant decks just rely on 1 or 2 roadblocks, and if you can get past that with Madcap Skills or Pyreheart Wolf, a lot of time you can kill them before Rakdos can even come out. So Pyreheart Wolf I did include in this deck. It is probably one of your weaker cards. You can definitely, if you pick up Boros Reckoners later on, this would be something you could replace Pyreheart Wolf with. Boros Reckoner is unfortunately still very expensive, so for a budget deck it just was unfeasible of including it. Then we go on to Lightning Mauler. I already explained how it works with Burning-Tree Emissary and Pyreheart Wolf. I mean, the 2 of the best combinations in here. And yeah, it's just great. This is an auto include, even when you do upgrade this to your RG aggro or kind of the more expensive red deck wins version, you do want to keep these Lightning Maulers just because on turn 2 how you can swing in for 4. Ash Zealot, it doesn't work with Burning-Tree Emissary, because Burning-Tree Emissary does unfortunately add a green and a red, not either or, but it is still an amazing 2-drop. It's a 2/2 first strike haste for 2 mana, and there's a ton of flashback cards right now. Junk Rites is the #1 deck in Standard at the moment, and they do use Unburial Rites, which will cost them 3 life, and a lot of times that might be the difference of the game or not. You never know. A lot of times those decks can combo off pretty quickly, but this 3 damage is amazing on Ash Zealot. It's good against Think Twices and Lingering Souls and whatnot. I already talked about Madcap Skills and why I included in here. I have in the sideboard, I have Volcanic Strengths to switch out for Madcap Skills if you're playing against any sort of red deck. The majority of decks right now do play red, do play a mountain, so Volcanic Strength is amazing in the sideboard. Then we have, of course, a 4 of Searing Spears. They are very important for killing Centaur Healers, very important for killing like opposing Mayors, anything else that is sort of a roadblock. It does kill Thragtusk, and at least gets rid of a 5/3 that's on the board, so that you have to deal with another 3/3, but it does kill it. It does make it so that Restoration Angel can't blink it and start having that madness. Anyway, of course, not it's the best burn spell that we have right now in the format, and yeah, definitely a must in this deck, I would say. You could decide to go Mizzium Mortars. The problem I have with Mizzium Mortars, it is sorcery speed. It does kill Restoration Angels. It does kill a few other creatures that are problematic for this deck, but it is an instant speed, and you have no clue how often that scenario of Restoration Angel into Thragtusk does happen, and you have to kill that Thragtusk in response to the Restoration Angel trying to blink it. So moving on to our 1-drops, we have Stromkirk Noble. This guy's sitting right now at $4 a piece on Cool Stuff Inc. Ash Zealot's 3, by the way. Very, very good bargain now. All Return to Ravnica seems to be very inexpensive. I highly recommend picking these guys up. I don't see them dropping in value from $3 anytime soon. This is going to be a staple in the next format, I'm sure, if Red Dex wins, is still around. And if you're looking at Block Constructor now, Red Deck Wins is the most popular deck in Block Constructed. So I don't see it going anywhere when Innistrad Block rotates out. So Ash Zealot could be the next like champion of the parish, or maybe like the Giraffe Messengers, Gravecrawler type card that are rares and go up to like $8 a piece. I could definitely see Ash Zealot, even though it is in an event deck. I could see Ash Zealot going up to around that price. It is a very good card. It does see play in Modern as well. Back to Stromkirk Noble. Great one drop. Every time it connects with a player, every time it does damage to a player, it gets a +1/+1 counter, which is awesome. It gets out of control very quickly if they can't deal with it. Probably one of the better one drops in red. Rakdos Cackler is pretty comparable because it does come out as a 2/2 already. You could play cards like Vexing Devil. I don't like Vexing Devil as much as Noble or Cackler in this deck because I don't like cards that give the opponent options. But Vexing Devil is kind of nice with Brimstone Volleys and Lightning Maulers, but still I highly recommend Stromkirk Noble over Vexing Devil. Another one drop you could use instead of Stromkirk Noble is Reckless Waif. We'll bring this guy up right here. It's a common, so if you even want to go even more budget, you can actually cut out these nobles for Reckless Waif here. Let's throw one right here so you can see it. It's a 1/1, but if their opponent does not cast a spell first turn, it becomes a 3/2. So you have a 3/2 beater on second turn, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so if you need to go even more budget than this deck already is, you can definitely put these Reckless Waifs in. It's a great choice. Cacklers, of course, are uncommons, very easy to find. Then we have Pillar of Flames, which are commons, which again are very, very needed in this format right now, with like Naya Blitz being a very popular deck, and like the RG aggros, and even Zombies is making a comeback. And this card's amazing versus Strangerroot Geist and anything with Undying, Gravecrawler, Messenger. Pillar of Flame is great. It exiles them. They don't get the Undying trigger because it gets exiled, not put in the graveyard. If you kill a Blood Artist with it, the Blood Artist does not do a damage to you. They do not gain a life. Very, very versatile card. Again, it's the best one casting damage spell that we have right now. Very rarely will you use it to hit your opponent in the face. You do want to use this to kind of take their opposing nobles out or cacklers out, and swing in with your creatures for the win. Then going to land base, we are playing just a total of 20 lands. You could go up to 21, 22. That is a little bit. I'm being a little bit ambitious with this 5-drop and 4 drops. I understand that, so it definitely could make some cuts. Maybe a Pyreheart Wolf for another mountain would be the best option here. I am playing these Hellion Crucibles as well. You have so much red. All I have to do is hit 2 red mana in here, and then you're fine. You don't need to. I mean, I guess it doesn't work with Burning-Tree Emissary or Ash Zealot either, so you don't want to hit this on your second or first drop. But late game, this 4/4 haste Hellion token is really good. You can turn one of your lands into a kill condition, which I really, really like this card. I know a lot of people don't like it and don't include it, but I think if you are running just the mono red, it is a lot better than just more mountains. Again, when you do get over to the green list, Kessig Wolfrun is always a good option for another non-basic land. So let's go over. These are only 50 cents a piece, so they're a bargain. They're easy to find, and yeah, they're just bulk rare, so very, very cheap. Good bang for your buck. So go over the sideboard. I already talked about Volcanic Strength. +2/+2 in Mountain Walk's amazing when almost every deck in this format is using mountains. Skullcrack is in here for Sphinx's Revelation and Thragtusk. Making them not gain that 5 life or bazillion life off Sphinx's Revelation is key to winning a lot of times. Flames of the Firebrand is for all the Naya Blitz decks and junk decks. A lot of people don't understand how junk works. A lot of times, how you shut down Junk Reanimator is not by Rest in Peace and Tormod's Crypts and Rakdos' Charms. The best way to shut down Junk Reanimator is cards like Flames of the Firebrand and Izzet Staticaster and Golgari Charm and anything else that kills those weenies off. It's the weenies. It's the mana dorks is what we like to call them. The one casting cost creatures that add mana that really accelerate that Junk Reanimator deck and kind of make it quote-unquote unfair. A lot of times if you exile their graveyard, it's no big deal because they end up just casting those cards anyway. They ramp very, very quickly in that deck. So yes, cards like Rest in Peace and Golgari Charm, and well, Golgari Charm's actually really good, not Golgari Charm. I'm thinking of Rakdos Charm, there we go. And Tormod's Crypt they're good against Junk Reanimator, but a lot of times they just do feel like a roadblock, not not shutting the deck down. And when they have like an explosive start of first turn Avacyn Pilgrim or first turn Arbor Elf and a second turn 2 Avacyn Pilgrims, and you're able to on your third turn sweep the board 3-for-1 them, yeah, that's a big deal. Then they can cheat off an Unburial Rites and do a fourth turn or even a third turn Crater of Behemoth or third turn Angel Serenity. It's a big deal. And this also comes in against the Traitorous Blood comes in against the Junk Reanimator decks. If you can survive a Crater of Behemoth, next turn you can grab it and kill them with it. And it's great with Thragtusk as well. Great with any other huge creature that you can take it over and swing in for the win. A lot of times this scenario does pan out where they cast a Thragtusk and next turn you just take it, negating their 5 life and getting a blocker out of the way. Add another Brimstone Volley in here as more utility against kind of the decks that you need to go over top of. Like Rakdos' aggro is something I would definitely put this Brimstone Volley in. Mizzium Mortars is for Restoration Angels and Loxodon and Smiters. Those are basically the two decks that I bring this in against. Everything else Searing Spear will take care of. And when you bring Mizzium Mortars in, you usually bring Searing Spears out, or in the case if they're playing the Centaur Healer Loxodon and Smiter deck, you bring Pillar of Flames out for Mizzium Mortars. So that's just an explanation of how the deck works. Very self-explanatory, very easy for a new player to play. If you want to learn aggro, this is a great deck to get a feel for it until you move on to more complex aggro decks than this. This is pretty straightforward. You cast creatures and swing with them. This is Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.